let's look at some jazz today, shall we? I don't look at much jazz on this channel, but it is on occasion nice to go there. And you might remember a few months ago I looked at the track Chitlin's Konkani by Kenny Burrell. And today I want to continue in a similar kind of vein. Going to look at another track from the Midnight Blue album. This one's called Soul Lament, and it's a beautiful solo guitar piece. And I often think that it's a good idea to have a few of these self-contained solo pieces in your repertoire for those times when you don't have someone to accompany you or a backing track or a band. You can just pick up the guitar and play something self-contained and satisfying. And this one's lots of fun to play, contains lots of nice jazz vocabulary, lots of nice chordal work. But having said that, I don't think you really need to know anything about jazz to be able to attempt this one. So even if you're not a particular jazz lover, I urge you to have a go at this one. Now I'm going to begin by playing through the piece. I'm going to try and stay fairly close to what's going on the original recording, but inevitably I'm going to do one or two things my own way. Let me start with that and then I'll break down the piece for you. So there we are. As I said, this is taken from the album Midnight Blue 1963, which really is a classic of jazzy blues or bluesy jazz. And if you're new to jazz and want to get into it, this record is a really good starting point, I think, just because it's accessible, it's listenable, it's not at all intimidating, unlike quite a lot of jazz stuff can be for non-jazz bows. Let's get into Soul Lament then, and I hope it's going to be a reasonably accessible track for most of you to learn. There's plenty of bluesy E minor pentatonic stuff, which should be familiar territory for most players, I think. But there is some interesting jazz chord vocabulary, and there's also the challenge of making this one flow as a solo piece. So let's get into it. We're in the key of E minor, and we've got two basic sections to this tune. I'm just going to call them the A section and the B section, or the bridge. We're playing the A section, I think, 3 times. Then we've got a bridge. Then we're playing the A section again, and there's a little outro as well. So I'm going to go through all of those bits of the song. And the main chord that you need to know for this one goes like this. We've got this lovely E minor sound. I suppose this is an E minor add 9 or add second. I don't know quite what the correct term for that is. I'll probably call it an E minor add 9. And it goes like this. We've got the root note, the open low E string, then we've got frets 2, 4, and the top 3 strings are open. So it's an E minor, but we've got this F sharp in there. That's the 9th or the 2nd. It's the same note, so it doesn't particularly matter what you call it. And that's setting up that kind of E minor tonality. And what Kenny Burrell is doing is just moving the note on the A string around. And setting up that kind of James Bondish sound. I don't know if this track was around before James Bond, probably about the same time as the first sort of James Bond film came out, but it's that same kind of idea. So we've got the B, the C and the C sharp just moving chromatically up and down. I suppose it's hinting at that kind of natural minor going to that more melodic minor sound, because we've got the flat 6 and the major 6 in there. Anyway, that's setting up this nice kind of moody sound. And then in between the chordal stuff, we've got some E minor blues or E minor pentatonic licks. So the A section of the tune proper starts like this. So we're just hitting that minor add 9 chord once. Then we've got this pentatonic idea. So I'm thinking E minor pentatonic in the 7th position, so it's kind of the A form. Now we've just got this little triangle of notes here, so E, G, and then A to G a few times, sliding up to the B. So, and I'm choosing to play this first E note more as a kind of ghost note. I'm really just sort of sweeping through that, so just playing that very fast. You could articulate that a bit more cleanly if you wanted to. And then we're back into the chord stuff. And then another pentatonic lick. Just a little variation there, so sliding up to the B and down again. And then one more time. And then we're into this nice jazzy series of chords. So starting off with this shape here, it's an A minor 9 chord. Really we've got a kind of 2-5 here, so A minor going to a D7 kind of sound, but we've got an A minor 9, so open 5th string, and then 10, 12, 12 and 12, and that's going to a D7 sound. So you could think in terms of this D7 bar chord, just really hearing the top 4 strings here, so frets 10, 11, 10 and 10, and then we've got some melody notes, so 12 to 10 on the B string, and then coming down to this. So this is really a C13, but again, not hearing the root note, just playing on the top 4 strings. So frets 8, 9, 10, 10. Then a C melody note, and then got a B7 or a kind of altered B7. And here I am hearing the low root note, so I'm playing that with my thumb over the top, and then I've got on the top 4 strings 7, 8, 7, 7, and playing a G melody note. So, and that's going down to the E minor chord. So, it's really just turning everything around, taking it back to E minor again. We've got this 2-5 up here. And then this here, the C7 to B7, really that's a 2-5 as well. I'm hearing that C13 really as a kind of flat 5 substitution. It's that kind of sound we're getting here, but instead of playing an F sharp half diminished or an F sharp 7, you've got the flat 5 sub, which gets that chromatic movement going from the C to the B, which then takes you back home to E minor. And then we've got more of that James Bondy stuff, so the just using a bit of pick and fingers there because I want the root and that top E to ring at the same time, so I'm just playing the low note with the pick and then using my ring finger or middle finger to grab the high E strings. So that's the A section. That then goes round a couple more times. There are some minor variations on that, particularly with this part here. It doesn't seem to be a pattern, particularly with where he's playing those notes. Sometimes he's going up to the C sharp, sometimes not. So you can listen to the recording and make up your own mind exactly how you want to do that. Then we're heading into the bridge section. And the bridge section is a little bit tricky to play exactly as Kenny Burrell does it on the recording. The timing is a little bit odd if you listen to it, and I'm hearing it as just quite a free kind of rubato-ish timing. I notice on one of the transcriptions which I found online, it's been notated with all kinds of weird odd time signatures, and that doesn't really make much sense to me. It just feels like he's being a bit flexible with the time, so I've perhaps streamlined the timing of it myself, and I'm kind of hearing it my own way. You might not hear it exactly as I'm hearing it, but certainly check out the original recording, and again you can make up your own mind with it. But as I'm playing the bridge section, it starts off like this. So really we've got more 2-5-1 stuff. And I'm hearing this as going to the relative major key. So most of the tune is in E minor, and for the bridge we're going to the relative major, which is G major. Very common jazz device. Just for a bit of variation on the bridge, you go to the relative minor or major key. So we're starting off with a kind of 2-5-1 to G major. So A minor, D7 and G, and we're playing a minor 9. And a lot of this is played with that low E string droning, so that's kind of grounding it in E minor with that sort of droning pedal note. But the chords on top are sort of giving you that major 2-5-1. So we've got that kind of A minor 9 sound, so 5-5-5 and 7. Then going to this chord here, it looks like a diminished 7 chord, so 4-5-4 and 5, but very often in jazz that diminished 7 chord is functioning as a dominant chord. So here it's kind of giving you that D7 flat 9 sound. So and then going to the G major 7, 5, 7, 7 and 7, and that's then going to a major 6 sound. So just goes round again. So then we're going a bit higher up the neck. So all of this section is serving to turn everything round, turn the bridge around and take it back to the A section. So we're starting with chord shapes that we've had before. So this A minor 9 to D7. Then we've got a B minor 7, so 9, 11, 10, 10, and a little melody played on the B string, and this is the C13 that we've had before. This time I am hearing a low bass note, and then nice jazz move here. It's a kind of 2-5. I suppose it's sort of F sharp minor 9 to B7 sharp 5. I suppose you could describe that as. So we've got that kind of move, 7 9 9 7 7 8 8 7. So, and that takes us back to the A section. Let me just put all of that bridge section together for you slowly. Then we're back into another A section. This is pretty much played the same as before. And then for the outro section, it's really nice. We've just got this E minor chord and then some little pentatonic licks or fills. So I'm just going to go through each of those little licks in turn. We're starting off with the chordal stuff. So, and the first lick is, so quite simple minor pentatonic, and then playing that low E and high E together. Next fill. So just E minor stuff, 7 to 8 hammer on, sliding up to that high E and then coming down again. It's kind of blues scale thing, that nice kind of slide from 11 to 10 on the B string. And then this is a really nice bluesy double stop thing here. So got this little tritone shape, so 11 and 12, and then sliding up from 11 to 12 on the B. Then 11 to 10, and then a G to E there. Nice bluesy sound that. And then the final bit of the tune, it's got E, G, a high E, and then it's the same as at the end of the A section really. So just some slight differences in the melody there. It's that C13, that B altered, down to the E minor add 9, and then we are ending on the actual James Bond chord, which if you don't know it, is one of those must know guitar chords I think, but it's this. So we've got the open low E string, and then we've got all of the fingers just kind of going down one fret at a time, so it's a nice easy grip. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7. You can play 7 on the top string as well. I'm hearing that high B on this tune. I think for the actual James Bond chord you're not playing the high E string. So it's a super dramatic chord, that one, and I would describe that as an E minor major 9. So we've got the root flat third, which means it's a minor kind of chord. The fifth is a major 7, and the ninth is in there as well. So it's related to the minor major 7th chord, but because we've got that F sharp in there, it's a minor major 9th. So that's the tune. It's a really beautiful one. It's a really nice one to learn. And don't feel that you have to do it exactly like Kenny Burrell does it, or exactly like I do it. I mean, I don't play it exactly like Kenny Burrell. I've tried to put my own sort of interpretation on it. My kind of time feel is slightly different to his. So you can do the same thing. You can take the basic elements of the tune, listen to the original recording, take what you want from it, and then do it your own way. The gear that I'm using today, and I'm using my Jazzmaster. So yes, jazz on a Jazzmaster. One day I'm going to get myself a nice old archtop jazz box style guitar, but they are ridiculously expensive and quite a specialty instrument. It's probably not something I would use that much, so it's a little bit hard to justify at the moment, but perhaps one day. But I do actually think that the Jazzmaster works well and sounds good for this kind of thing. And I'm not using a real amp today, I'm using my Kemper Profiler. And the profile that I'm using is something called Falcon 121, which is apparently a simulation, or I don't know what to call it, kind of digital capture of a Gibson Falcon guitar amp. Whatever that might be, I've no idea, but it sounds good to me. There we go. I'm going to write all of this out in standard notation and tab and put that up on my Patreon page. And you might want to check out some of my other jazz lessons. There's the Chitlins Konkani lesson, which I've already mentioned. And I've done a handful of other jazz lessons. I'll try and put together a bit of a playlist or something so you can check all of those out. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck with learning this one, and I'll see you next time.